As our last speaker, I'd like to invite one of our veteran executive directors, Dr. Walt Thompson from Atlanta, Georgia, to talk about his experiences being the leader of After School All-Stars in Atlanta for 18 years. Please welcome Dr. Walt Thompson.
Thank you, Ben. I feel woefully inadequate having Jenny go first, and followed by Juan, and I'm in between them, and then my very good friend and colleague Joyce Thomas. Joyce leads probably, arguably, the very best middle school in Atlanta, if not greater Atlanta, if not northern Georgia, if not the state of Georgia, under some very difficult circumstances. But I am a professor at Georgia State University, and because of that, I have to share some statistics with you. According to the FBI, the after-school hours are the peak time for juvenile crime and experimentation with drugs, alcohol, cigarettes, and sex. The U.S. Department of Labor estimates that the parents of more than 28 million school-aged children in the United States work outside the home. As many as 15 million latchkey children go home to an empty house on any given afternoon. And the situation is no different in metro Atlanta than in any other major city in this country. Fight Crime, Invest in Kids, a bipartisan anti-crime organization led by police chiefs, sheriffs, prosecutors, victims of violent crime, and leaders of police officer associations, have found through a series of national studies that violent juvenile crime is most likely to occur between the hours of 3 and 6 p.m., and that youth are more likely to engage in risky behaviors, smoking, drinking, and do drugs during these hours. And unsupervised youth are also most likely to get into car accidents during this time. Because of this, the hours between 3 and 6 p.m. on school days is referred to by law enforcement officials as the danger zone. They're the prime time for violent juvenile crime. This is also the time period during which kids are most likely to become victims of violent crime, be involved in all kinds of accidents, experiment with drugs or alcohol, and become pregnant. Juvenile crime rates for females has increased steadily. On a national level, delinquency cases involving girls increased by 83% in just one decade. The Children's Defense Fund reported that an American child or teen is killed by gunfire every 2 hours and 40 minutes. That results in 9 American children dying from gunfire every day. So a summary of their research indicates that a lack of adult supervision and participation in self-care for both children and adolescents has been linked to increased likelihood of accidents, injuries, lower social competence, lower grade point average in school, lower achievement test scores, and greater likelihood of participation in delinquent or other high-risk activities, such as experimentation with alcohol, tobacco, drugs, and sex. Teens who are unsupervised during after-school hours are 37% more likely to become teen parents. After-school programs are proven to lower juvenile crime rates and generally improve neighborhoods, and not just by keeping youth occupied for a few hours every day. After-school programs help young people succeed by providing academic support and the chance to form meaningful relationships with adults from their community, and by encouraging them to get involved in their neighborhoods through service projects. This support, these relationships, and the benefits to the community create a mutually beneficial relationship of immeasurable value. Experts agree that investing money in after-school programs saves lives and tax dollars. One study concluded that for every dollar spent on after-school programs produced $3 in benefits to the public. I'd like to tell you a story about Jonathan, a.k.a. Johnny Boy. I went to a family event not long ago at one of our middle schools, and I saw this young man performing for his parents and for his family. See, Johnny Boy liked to dance, as all young men like to do. Most of the time not in public, but not for Johnny Boy. Johnny Boy went out and he was dancing. It was loud music. And then what we know today is his entourage came on the dance floor, and they had this choreographed dance. Well, I asked the principal at the time, who is this young man? And she said, that's Johnny Boy. And I said, well, who's Johnny Boy? Why is he such a great dancer? And he said, well, Johnny Boy has kind of a sordid past. He was expelled in the 6th grade. In the 7th grade, he spent week after week on suspension. And then in the 8th grade, he was introduced to after-school all-stars. And the teachers asked him what he liked to do. And he said, I like to dance. So, okay, we had a dance program, and Johnny became the star. Now, fast forward several years. I was at a mountain biking experience for our middle school kids. Lieutenant Governor Casey Cagle was there from Georgia. And Thomas Dimitrov, who is the Atlanta Falcons general manager, he was there. And this young man walked up to me and introduced himself. He was one of our counselors. And he introduced himself as Jonathan. And I said, Jonathan, where are you from? He said, I'm from Atlanta. I said, well, how'd you get interested in after-school all-stars? He said, because when I was in the 6th grade, I was a troublemaker. When I was in the 7th grade, I was a troublemaker. In fact, I was on my way to being incarcerated for the rest of my life. But in the 8th grade, I found after-school all-stars. Johnny Boy went to high school. He went to college. And he works for us. His name is Jonathan. So people ask, why do I get involved, or why am I involved in after-school all-stars? It's because of Jenny. It's because of Juan. It's because of Johnny Boy. Thank you.